Hello everyone. This is Nazmus Saki from TCL Global Operations Manager. So welcome to our today's Facebook Live session. With us today, Fadi Abdul Hussain from Kaplan Pathways. So hi Fadi, how are you?
Hi Sakib, how are you doing? I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good, alhamdulillah. So Fadi, if you give us an intro about yourself and about your role, please.
Of course. So yes, my name is Fadi Abdul Hussain. I'm the regional manager for onshore and EU at Kaplan International Pathways. I've been working with Kaplan for the last 3 years and a half, but before I worked with different education providers. I've been in the industry for the last 12 years almost. So yeah, I hope I will have enough knowledge to answer all the questions today. It's great to be with you guys. Thank you very much for inviting me. Those sessions, especially engaged in the current situations, I believe they are very important for students. I'm sure lots of students, they have different questions. They are not certain about the future. And of course, I'm following you on Facebook, and I think the sessions you are doing, guys, is amazing. It's great help for students. It just removes this uncertainty that gives students more confidence about the future, how things going to be in the UK, in the US, and how they can plan their future. So yeah, I'm very happy to be here, and as always, great to be with you guys, especially.
Okay, thank you, Fadi. And viewers, you know that this program is broadcasting in all our markets in Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and Nigeria. So the good news for the students of the Nigeria that now TCL Global is in Nigeria. We have opened our office from 1st of June. So you can visit the students from Nigeria who are now watching this session. You can visit our office in Nigeria and you can get assistance from the TCL team. So viewers, Fadi, you know that there is always a question that actually what is this Kaplan Cambridge Education Group, the study group, actually what are their roles and what actually they provide? Okay. So if you please give them a...
Of course. Good. So Kaplan is education provider, right? So the same like, of course, different groups in the UK. And what we do, we have partnership with universities, right? Some universities, they don't want to run the foundation program or pathway programs. So they kind of outsource it to education provider, right? So we have partnership with universities in the UK and we deliver their foundation programs, International Year 1 and Pre-Master. I will speak more, of course, about the foundation, what is it? But in general, it is a partnership between the education provider, which is Kaplan, and the university in the UK or in the US, right? Where, of course, together we work to recruit students for pathway programs. And, of course, to put the academic concept of the course, right? So students, they can come, study the pathway program, and then progress to the university. Right? Now, the pathway program in general is for those students who's not qualified to meet, who doesn't meet the entry requirements for a direct entry to university. Right? So let's say a student who wants to go to Liverpool University, right? Which is, of course, Russell Group, one of the best universities in the UK. But for some reason, they don't meet the requirements to go for direct entry to year 1. Now, the university, then in this case, they will give them the option, this is where Kaplan comes as an option for those students, right? So they can come to the UK to do 1 year pathway program, which is foundation, right? They will take the extra academic subjects, extra English subjects, academic English, of course, and academic skills. Most of our courses is going to be on the college, international college, which is inside the university, right? But students will only study with international students, right? Maximum is going to be between 15 to 20 students in one class. Then when the student finish the foundation program, they progress to do the degree they want to study, which is going to be 3 years at the university. Right? Now, the good thing to know about foundation in general, and I think I can talk about Kaplan's foundation, all of them, they are guaranteed progression, right? Which is very important to think about this when you choose your pathway program. What does it mean? In the offer letter, the student will receive from us, right? Let's say he's doing foundation in Liverpool International College, right? In the second page of the offer letter, you will have what's called progression requirements. Right? So in there, we are telling the student if you score, for example, 60% in your foundation program, right, your place at the university is guaranteed, right? So this is why it's kind of guarantee for a student. It's kind of contract between us, the student, and the university. Like if the student successfully finished the foundation program, the university must accept him for the program at year one.
That's great. The students were watching this session also, you understand that what this pathway provider actually provide to the students, because most of the universities they don't provide the GED foundation program. So in this case, if you want to go to this university, if you have no eligible requirement, but in that case you can go through this Kaplan pathways that provided with these universities by progression.
Exactly.
So if I tell you that some universities they have the GED foundation, so in this case, why students choose pathway provider rather than this university GED foundation? Is there any flexibility of entry permit?
Yes, of course. It's very good question, Sakib. Now, look, most universities nowadays, they outsource their foundation programs. Right? For example, University of Liverpool, we do the foundation, and we partner with 16 universities in the UK. Most of them, we run the foundation program. Now, as you said, some universities, they might have their own foundation program. They run it on the line of our foundation program, right? Both foundations are guaranteed progression to the university, 100%, right? Now, of course, both foundations, they have good and bad things. I can speak about Kaplan Foundation. I think we are more prepared to support international students, right? Because working with international students and teaching international students, it's what we've been doing for the last 10, 15 years. So the progression rate we have is very high. It's almost between, most of the university, we have progression rate between 90 to 99 to 100%. Right? And I think the support we give to those students, because students we're going to study the foundation only with, as I said, with other international students, maximum is going to be between 15 to 20 students in one class. So you will have extra support. Right? And we are there to see if the student is underperforming at any stage, maybe not because he's not good academically, but as you know, traveling to the UK, they will face things like feeling homesick, culture shock, right? Some students, they are perfect, but of course, coming to the UK and with everything they have to take on board, take them back a little bit. So this is where we have the special teams to jump in, to talk to students, and of course sort any problem they have. Maybe if students, sometimes some cases I have students who's qualified for direct entry actually, right? Like they can go for year one, but they prefer to come for foundation program or international year one only because of the type of support they will have during this year. So we look at it as if soft landing for students. They don't come to first year where they study with 100 other students. Right? They're only in their small group of international students. They have the same pain. They get to know each other. They go through the difficulties together with the support of the college. So I always feel like the pathway program is a good chance for students to give them better opportunity and chance to succeed for the future.
Yeah, definitely. And I think there's also some flexibility to the IELTS requirement also, I think. Like that for the foundation program, if you go through the pathway providers, then in that case, the requirement could be like 5.5, overall minimum for 5. But for the university, the entry requirement basically like 5.5, minimum 5.5.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'll give you an example, right? I will speak more about the courses and different universities, but let's say University of Bristol. Right? University of Bristol is number 57 in the world. We are not talking even about Russell Group University. We are even moved on the second, I think, tier. It's one of the best in the world, basically. So for the university, we have two types of foundation programs. Right? We have the university foundation program, which is on campus, and it's Kaplan only recruit for those foundations. All the teaching and everything happen from the university itself. Right? So this is on campus. Now, we have another option as well, where students, they can do the foundation in our college in London. Right? They do 1 year foundation in London, then they progress to the university in the second year. When they finish foundation, they go to Bristol to continue their study. Now, the main difference between the two foundations, in addition to what I mentioned about the support for international students, which I think we are good with, the entry requirements. For example, the university, they have only 2 terms foundation, and they ask for 5.5 with no less than 5 in all soft skills. And they have only 1 entry point, which is September intake.
Exactly.
And now us, we have intakes all over the year. So we have January, February, March, April, name it, you will find a time for it. And of course, because of the flexibility we have, we can give, if student comes, instead, if they don't have 5.5 IELTS, they have only 4, right? We take them for longer foundation program, which is, for example, 4 terms, almost 1 year, academic year. We start with English, 2 terms, then we continue the foundation. Right? So I think flexibility, especially with English requirements, it gives us an advantage. Of course, I'm not going to say it's better, but it's kind of options to students. Depends what their requirements, what they're looking for. We can match it with either way.
Yeah, definitely. Because if I tell you that it could be a dream for any student that I want to go Liverpool University or University of Nottingham. Definitely, they can dream this. Okay, so in this case, sometimes they can direct entry for this university. So there could be, and we're ensuring that there could be lots of options for them if they go through the pathway providers. Because we'll go to that point also. We know that there is a different terms foundation. The longer foundation course I've already mentioned. It based on your qualification. You have the opportunity, lots of opportunity if you go through the pathway providers to go progression for this university, higher ranked university. So in this case,
mention, I think students they need to understand this. The foundation program, it is credited and recognized from the university 100%. Right? It's only, if you think about it, like Glasgow or any university like Liverpool, it's a building, it's a college inside the university campus. So students, they have access to the university exactly the same like any other students from day one, right? Only, but we just make sure you are with international students for the soft landing care, take you there step by step, prepare you for the year 1, then you continue your degree. So I think it's very important for students to understand it is a partnership with the university, and it's 100% recognized and guaranteed progression, of course.
Yeah, definitely. And for our Kuwaiti students who are listening to us, we know that we've got lots of students from Kuwait for Kaplan pathway providers. Every year, lots of students go there. Yeah. So you also well known about this thing that Kaplan, all of the centers are on campus. That means from the beginning of the first day, you'll get the flavor of the university campus.
Yes, exactly. Well, we have few universities, I would say London, right? We have our college, Kaplan College, which is lovely location. It's near London Bridge by the river, near Borough Market. It's zone 1, it's great, amazing college. So now we use this one as a center for universities who want to progress to City University, London, of course, Queen Mary University now, which is our new partner, Westminster University. Right? This is in London, but all students, they study in our college in London. But as you know, in London, there is no campus feeling. It's not like when you are talking about outside London, where you have everything in one place. Even the university, sometimes they have building for economic school in one place, then another building for engineering in different place. So the college is for international students especially.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so we want to start from the foundation. If you tell us the basic entry requirement for the foundation students.
Exactly. So should I talk more first about our partner university, just quickly?
Yeah, definitely.
So in the UK, we have 16 partner universities, right? 7 of them are Russell Group universities, right? I always say we kind of lucky. I consider myself lucky when I speak to students because of the profile of our universities, right? I think studying in the UK is not only about the university ranking, is not only about the reputation of the university, which is of course very important, right? But students, they need as well to have good experience, right? So when I look at our university, I think we have very good mixture of good universities, but at the same time, nice cities where students they can be, right? So starting from south, we have Bournemouth and Brighton, right? Now talking about cities only, right? Then I will go.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we have Bournemouth and Brighton. Now going to London, as I said, we have.
I think, and I just want to interpret that, and that is the most popular center of Kaplan in the south region. Very popular center.
It is. It's a lovely city. Then if you go to London, of course, we have our center in the middle of London, Perfect, where we do, I will speak more about the center later, about the college, Kaplan College London. But we have 3 partner universities, City University, Westminster, and Queen Mary University. Now in Bristol, we have 2 universities, University of Bristol and West of England, Bristol. Okay. Going up, we have Essex, University of Essex, in Essex, which is around 50 minutes from London by train. Going a little bit more up, we have Liverpool. In Liverpool, we have University of Liverpool. In Nottingham, we have 2 universities. We have University of Nottingham and Nottingham Trent University. In Birmingham, we have the University of Birmingham and Aston University. Going up, we have University of York, and we have, of course, University of Glasgow. Right? So if you, I don't have my presentation with me, but usually when I share the presentation, I have kind of a map where you can see all the cities. So it's lovely to see like we spread from down south up to the north, just for if you talk about options, which is great to see actually.
So whenever you want to go in UK, you have the center of Kaplan, so don't worry.
Exactly. So moving to ranking, as I said, depends what student they want. Basically, we have Russell Group universities, 7 of them. We have Queen Mary University, University of Bristol, Liverpool, Birmingham, Nottingham, York, Glasgow. Right? At the same time, we have the mid-ranked universities we call, which of course I'm a big fan of Brussels Group universities, but I think sometimes mid-ranked universities are great options as well, because you're still talking about top 35, 40 in the UK. Right? Even though they are not Russell Group universities, but they are still great universities and very good options for students. Right? Now, talking about programs, just to give you an idea how we have options kind of for, depends on the students' needs. We do 3 types of programs, but let me speak about undergraduate. We have foundational program and international year 1. Right? Now, foundation.
And do you have pre-masters?
And pre-master, of course, for graduate. But for undergraduate, we have the 2 options. So foundation and international year 1. And we have, now, foundation is, as I was talking, is 1 year preparation. Student finish it, progress to year 1, 2, and 3. Right? Now, international year 1 is kind of similar to year 1 for university. And the benefit of it, it takes students straight away to the second year. Right? So for those students, for example, from Bangladesh, if students are not sponsored and they want to make sure they get the best return of investment, I say it. So they have limited budget, right? They want to make sure they use it very wisely. So the international year 1, they will give them the opportunity to finish their studies in 3 years instead of 4 years if they do foundation program. Right? Now we don't have this option for Russell Group universities, the international year 1, but of course we have it for all other universities, which is another 9 options in the UK. Right? So I think this is great for those students, as I said, self-funded, they have limited budget, limited time, so they can finish in 3 years instead of 4.
Especially for Qatari students.
Yes, Qatari students.
Yeah.
So yeah, Qatari students, I will talk a little bit about Middle East as well. So Qatari students, as you know, of course, they sponsor students for international year 1.
Yeah, yeah.
Last year, we had very good feedback, very good number of students coming to West of England, Bristol. Right? Because we have international year one for engineering, which is very difficult to find for engineering. For engineering, we have Aston doing international year one. We have West of England, Bristol, and Nottingham Trent. So we had too many students from Qatar going international year one straight away to West of England and Bristol. Now, students from Kuwait is another big market from us. And of course, guys, we recruit too many students from there. You're doing great in that market as well. We have too many universities in the sponsorship list. Of course, Liverpool, Glasgow, or Russell Group universities, the big ones. Even we have two universities, I think, both of them in the merit list. So you have University of Bristol and University of Glasgow. They are in the special list.
Very nice, yeah.
Yeah. And recently, which is very interesting, only this year, University of West of England, Bristol has been added to the list.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we will see a big increase of numbers going to West of England, Bristol, because it's very good university, nice university. Students are getting very nice experience from the university and from the city itself. So I think for Kuwait students, I have a feeling we'll see like more students coming to this specific university. It's been added only this year, I believe, beginning of this year, it's been added to the list. Yeah. I don't know. Do you want to I think going back to your question about entry requirements.
Entry requirement, exactly.
Of course. Let me, okay, I will go to different markets, speak about minimum requirements and maximum requirements. For foundation, let's start with foundation program. So Middle East, if we're talking about Thanawiya, right, in the Middle East, Kuwait, for example, Kuwait, we take students from 65% Thanawiya. And of course, if the student, the university is higher ranked, we go up to 80 to 85%. So starting from 65 up to 85%. Now, for IGCSE, we accept students from 5 academic IGCSE, and we ask for only 5 Ds. The top universities, like if we talk about Liverpool, University of Liverpool, we also accept IGCSE, but we ask for 2 A3Bs, and they need to be academic subjects. Qatar, the same. I think it's the same. American high school, for example, we take students from grade 12. They don't need to have SAT. Even for mid-ranked universities, we accept students from grade 11, basically. So students doesn't need to continue grade 12. They can come from grade 11 to study. In Bangladesh, we accept students from average 65%, and it goes up to 80%. Depends on the university. Now, IELTS requirements, again, we depends on the student level, but the minimum requirements we request 4 with no less than 4 in all sub-skills. But this is going to be the longer foundation because we need to give them English, 2 terms English, then of course the 2 terms standard foundation. If the student has 5.5, they will save time and they can come straight away to 2 terms foundation. Of course, continue their study. Now, I think the advantage of our international year one is, I always like to mention our entry requirements for international year one because they are very competitive. Even for international year one, we accept students from from Thanawiya. For example, if it's Middle East, the student doesn't need to do any extra year, but we ask for 80%, the minimum. IGCSE, we accept students for IGCSE as well to go to international year one, and we ask again 5 academic subjects, but we need B with no less than B in all subskills. From Bangladesh, we accept students from 80% to come to international year one. IELTS requirements for international year one, again starting from 4.5 for the longer international year one, and finishing with 5.5 for the 2 terms international year one. If I have time, if you don't mind, I would like to mention about a new program we launched last week, which I think is great advantage for those students who's not qualified for international year one, right? So let's say we have a student with limited budget, limited time, but unfortunately he doesn't have the, let's say IGCSE, he doesn't have the 5 Bs to go for international year one in September. Right? So now we have a new course starting in 17th of July. We call it International Year 1 Plus. Right? So students, for this one, even though it's called International Year 1, but we call it Plus because we take students with lower entry requirements. So instead of asking for International Year 1 for 5 Bs, we can accept them from 5 IGCSE, 5 passes only. Or from Bangladesh, we can accept them from 65%. So student will do preparation for 2 months, then continue International Year 1 for 2 months, then progress to second year university.
So, total duration for this international year one class?
Yes, sorry?
So what will be the total duration?
The tuition.
Duration.
It's going to be 4 terms.
I mean for international year 1, second and third year, 3 years. And we're not eligible for the direct international year 1, already mentioned. So for them, they have to do 2 months extra course, right?
2 terms.
2 terms.
2 terms, exactly. So it's going to start, so think about it, it's like longer international year 1, 4 terms, right? And it's only for business courses. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but maybe you can think about it as if it's, it's preparation before the international year 1. 2 terms preparation to increase the student academic level from July till September or till January. Then January, they will start the international year 1 standard 1. They will finish in July 2021, then progress September 2021 to the university. So instead of student doing foundation 1 year, right, then international year 1 second year, student can do this longer international year 1 plus and save time and money.
Yeah, so for the, I want to just clarify for our viewers, you know that for some providers, there's some difference with this term. Some of them have 3 months, 1 term, but some of them 4 months, 1 term. So what about Kaplan?
That's a good question. I know what you mean. It's, and I don't know the answer 100% to you. I know. Usually it's around 12, I would say 12 weeks is 1 term. 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
It's 1
3 months. Yeah, 3 months is 1 term. Okay.
Yeah, more or less it is. Because if you think about it, 2 terms September starts. Yeah, 2 terms September starts, finishes on May, June. So we talk about 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 to 4 months. Depends on the start date and the course itself.
Okay, so previously you spoke about the IELTS requirement for the Kuwaiti students. But we know that there is a different requirement for the sponsor, Kuwaiti sponsored student for the IELTS.
Yeah.
Could you please mention this for them?
Exactly. So basically, the sponsor usually asks students to have 5 with no less than 5 in all subskills in order to be qualified for the sponsorship. Right? Now, for our entry requirements, or for example, students from Kuwait, they can't take more than 2 terms foundation program. Right? So this is why we can't accept them for longer foundation. So they must have the minimum of 5. Now, in order to at least submit for the embassy, but exactly for the sponsorship. But for now, because maybe we'll do digital learning in September, for example, even for those courses, if we ask for 5.5 for entry requirements, right, the student can do our English test, which is called KITE, K-I-T-E, right, in order to meet the requirements for the course. However, they still need to show IELTS UKVI for the embassy, and it needs to go 5 with no less than 5 in order for the student to get a financial guarantee.
That's great. Okay, we're getting lots of queries from our students like that, especially Kuwaiti students, that our government is accepting the online courses or not. So, is there any answer from your side?
Well, no, look, we, of course, we have too many Kuwaiti sponsored students, and the message we have, and we started receiving financial guarantees for this intake, actually. The message we had from the Kuwaiti sponsor, but still not the KCO, but still is not confirmed 100%. It looks like they will be fine with students studying online, doing digital learning. Right? Now, of course, things is going to change. I don't know how it's going to be because look, no one understands exactly how the picture is going to be in September. Right? We are kind of getting ready for all scenarios. Right? From the communication we had with the Kuwaiti sponsor, they are giving financial guarantees. Right? They started issuing them. So I encourage all students 100% go ahead, submit your offer, and hopefully you'll receive financial guarantee. Now, we don't have a clear information. They said it might be okay for the digital learning, but how things is going to change, we don't know exactly how it will be. Maybe they're not going to be, if it's, for example, long online, maybe it's not going to work. But I think the message to students now, go ahead, submit your offer to the Kuwaiti Minister of Education because we're receiving financial guarantees already. And we hope, of course, we can welcome students face-to-face. The embassy already showing, or Kuwaiti government showing more flexibility about online. Online before was no, full stop. I think from the talk with them now, no, they are open for it. But of course, we're waiting to see how it's going to look like exactly in the future to give the final confirmation, I would say.
So that means we are hoping to start the September intake on the right time, or is there any late enrollment?
Now, for September intake, we are not sure. Now, as you know, things are changing very quickly, right? So we still don't have final confirmation. Are we going to deliver it face-to-face? Or it's going to be digital learning. Every week we have few meetings, just preparing ourselves for scenarios. I think this is the best thing we can do. We would love to have students coming for face-to-face, and we continue doing what we did best for the last 10 years, 15 years. But of course, we are also prepared for two other options. Is it going to be starting online? Then students, they can come face-to-face when things gets better. Are we going to run them together? For example, one of the question is, what about the UK is open, right? But students, they can't leave their country, right? So what's going to happen with those students? So it's kind of, there's different scenarios, and I think it's very early to decide how it's going to be, but we are prepared for everything. We are fine to deliver our courses online. We've been as well, we have a partnership with the University of Essex. We used to deliver, and we still delivering their online courses for the last 10 years. We've been doing it 7 years, and we reflect this in our digital learning. So we are confident our digital learning is going to work for students. And if we have to do digital learning, but of course we would love to have our students in the center if everything is back to normal and travel restriction is lifted.
And you know that in this situation, students are also facing some trouble about the IELTS exam. So is there an alternative you are accepting?
Yes. Okay. So for digital learning, right, students doesn't need to have IELTS UKVI. Right? So let's say in September start, we will start digital learning. Okay. So students, because they don't have to travel to the UK, they don't need the IELTS UKVI in specific. What we offer them to take our internal test, which we call it CAT, and it's free of charge. Right? You only need to send us an email with the student details. We send you logins. Student login is going to be monitored, of course, like by the system and everything. Do the exam, the result comes to us. Right? Now,
I can give the exam from home?
Sorry?
I can give the exam from their home?
Yes, of course. They do it from home, online, no need to go anywhere. It's very straightforward, actually. Now, if the student meets the requirements, that's it. They will have unconditional offer to start digital learning. Right? Now, but the trick is students, let's say after things gets better and we say January, we're moving to face-to-face, right? So students need to come to the UK, so they need to apply for a Tier 4 visa. For a Tier 4 visa, they need IELTS UKVI.
That's the point.
It's useful, but it's tricky a little bit. So what I'm advising my students and agents, of course, the message it needs to be, take our internal test, take the guide, right? But you need to monitor the situation in your country and make sure when the IELTS center opens, you go straight away to book the exam, take the IELTS UKVI, have your certificate with you, right? And then when we move to face-to-face teaching, you have it ready to apply for your visa.
Okay, but my question is that, there are some of the students, they have IELTS like 4, but your requirement is 5. So for this student, they need to sit for another IELTS again, or they can go with your internal test?
Okay. Yes, exactly. So let's say student, they have IELTS UKVI, right? 4 with no less than 4 in all subskills, right? Yeah. But our entry requirement is 5.5. Okay. Now they can take our internal test to meet our entry requirements, which is 5.5, right? And at the same time, use the IELTS UKVI for visa when they want to come to the UK.
Okay. So that time that they don't need to sit for another IELTS, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
they kind of combine both of them, the IELTS UKVI, but we need, of course, 4 with no less than 4 to apply for the visa. And our internal test is for our entry requirements. Now, for Kuwaiti students, sponsored students is tricky because the sponsor will ask them for IELTS 5, which some students they already have because they applied for sponsorship last year.
So, Vyas, I think you are enjoying this session today, especially our Saudi, Kuwait, and Qatari students. You are getting lots of tricky answers from Fadi, and I think this is really very helpful for them because that is now the more prize question for them. What will be the alternative of IELTS? What is the situation in September intake about the online courses? So that is the most common questions we are actually getting from the students.
Yes.
So I think that will be really helpful for them.
Look, I think my main advice to students, don't pause your studies. I think it's wrong to wait and say, I will stop now. I'm going to stay at home for 1 year till September next year to see how things goes, and then I will apply again. It could be personal opinion. I wouldn't do this because knowing how things internally happening at Kaplan at least, or of course hearing from other universities, everyone is getting prepared for all scenarios, right? So even if we end up delivering all our foundation program or pathway program online, right? I'm sure there is benefits from there because what we guarantee to students, the quality is going to be the same, like face-to-face. We call it apply with confidence, right? The progression to university, the progression opportunity is going to be the same, right? Even we give students, let's say if the student's self-funded, we give students 7 days from the day they start our online course, if we go for online in September, to have a feeling of digital learning. Right? If they feel it's not for them, for any reason, they feel like, no, it's not what I expected, we give them the option of canceling the course without any extra charges. They can ask for the refund without extra charges, or they can defer the start date for September or January. Right? So I think there is options in there, right? And I know we are not used to the idea of delivering digital learning. Students, they would love to come here to experience what is it like to be in the UK. But especially for undergraduate students, I think sometimes doing even foundation, if we have to do it the whole year online or digital learning, still you're saving in accommodation, right? Living cost, getting ready from your home country. And at some point, hopefully after 1 year, things is going to be back to normal and you can come to the UK, of course. Then again, if we start, for example, digital learning in September, maybe for January, everything is going to be back to normal. So you don't need to waste a year of your life. You're doing only 3 months, for example, digital learning. Then in January, you're coming to continue face-to-face experience. How is it to be in the UK, finish your foundation program or international year one and continue your study as normal. So it's like we're confident and about the courses and the option we will have to students. And I think students, they need to start feeling like, yes, I trust the education in the UK. I trust the education provider and I want to discover this option because I think it's still a very good option for students.
Okay, that's good. And for the viewers, you know that from 1st of June, we have started our virtual education fair and it will be continued for the 2 months. And Kaplan, Fadi will be also available there in this fair. So we'll request you, just don't be delayed, just go to the registration link that is available in all of the social sites. So you can complete the registration form and join with us in the fair. And Fadi will be there for the more information. You can speak with him directly and he can also give you an assessment also. If you want, with checking your documents, he can also give some decision like that also. Yes. So this is the chance, don't miss the chance. And for TCL Global, I want to say that the TCL Global is just not only a consultancy firm for doing business. On top of that, TCL Global is really to establish a good career of students, to make the dream come true, and to help them from the bottom of our heart. Our counselors, you already familiar with them. So they are providing the services as much as friendly, not only for as a professional. So I think Fadi is also working with us for quite a long time. So Fadi, we always speak lots of things about TCL Global and we will definitely talk with this because this is our company. So you are also working with us for quite a long time. So from your experience, why you suggest student TCL Global rather than others?
Yes, I mean, I agree with you. I've been working with you guys since I've started with Kaplan, actually. I remember I visited your office in Portsmouth and I'm always in contact with you guys. Yes, 100%. I would say TCL is one of very trusted agents or representatives we work with. 100%. I'm very confident about the knowledge you have, guys. It's really top level. And it's about, as you said, it's not only about the business, it's about caring about students, right? It's doing what it takes and with students in your heart, like students' interest is the top priority. And I have to say, 100% guys, you deliver a great service. And I think you're giving the advice to students which suits their needs and their expectation, 100%. And again, I say, I'm not saying this because I'm with you guys here, like because it's your session, but I 100%, I have very good feedback about level of service. I can see the quality of application, the options you give to students. And yes, 100%, I say it's a pleasure working with TCL for the last few years. And with pleasure, I will refer students to deal with you, of course.
Yeah, that's really good. And you know that about the visa compliance issues, we have the regional office in every region. In Saudi Arabia, in Kuwait, in Bangladesh, and recently we have opened our office in Nigeria. So there's no issues about the visa compliance. You know that the most important thing about the agency, the visa compliance issues. If they don't have the local office, regional office, it's sometimes quite tough to access the documents and to help for the visa compliance. So we are absolutely 100% our professional team with the visa compliance issue. So if anything needs from your application to the enrollment, final enrollment to the university, we are always here to help you guys. So just visit our office when you get time, if you desire to go in UK. And Fadi, thank you very much for your support. Always, we really appreciate your support for all the time. So thank you viewers for having with us and enjoying with the session. And don't forget about the sphere. So more information will come there from Fadi and from face-to-face meeting with him individually. So don't miss the chance, okay? So thank you viewers for joining the session. And thank you, Fadi. So if you have any message for the students?
All the best of luck. As I said, please, I advise don't pause your studies and just continue following your dreams. I'm sure we're gonna reach somewhere great.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone. Thank you.